Now we'll go for the calculation of minimum processing time, that means step 2, on the basis of our sequence of items. At first we can put sequence of items in the first column, and the given here the idle time, that means waiting time or time without work. This idle time must be calculated from the second machine or sewing machine. The first machine has no idle time. And the item sequence given here 1 4 5 3 2. So we can start from item 1. The time in of item 1 in cutting machine or machine A is 0 because it is the starting time or base. Time out of cutting machine or machine A is 3. Time in, because time in plus of processing time of item 1 in machine A or cutting machine. The time in of item 1 in sewing machine is 3 because when cutting machine completes this item, then sewing machine starts its work. Time out of sewing machine is 6. That means time in plus processing time of the item 1 in sewing machine. Now the idle time. The idle time of sewing machine is 3 hours. This 3 hours for starting this item. And the time in of item 1 in pressing machine is 6 because when sewing machine completes this item, then pressing machine starts its work. Time out of pressing machine is 11. That means time in plus the processing time of item 1 in pressing machine. Now the idle time of pressing machine is 6 hours for starting this job. Now the next item, item 4. This item 4, the time in of item 4 in cutting machine is 3 because cutting machine was free in 3 hours. Time out of cutting machine is 8. That means time in plus processing time of item 4 in cutting machine. The time in of item 4 in sewing machine is 8. Though the time out of the previous item in sewing machine was 6. Also we can apply such a strategy. That means this time out and this time out, we will take the larger of the two. So the time in of item 4 in pressing machine is 8, and the time out of pressing machine is 9. That means time in plus of processing time of item 4 in sewing machine. Now the time in of item 4 in pressing machine is 11. Same things we can apply here. That means we can say that because pressing machine was free in 11 hours, the time out of pressing machine is 18. That means time in plus processing time of item 4 in pressing machine. The idle time of pressing machine or waiting time of pressing machine is 0 hours for starting the item. But the idle time of sewing machine or waiting time of sewing machine is 2 hours for starting this item, because the timeout of previous item in sewing machine was 6 and the time in of the present work in sewing machine is 8 hours. Now the next item 5. Time in of item 5 in cutting machine is 8 hours, because cutting machine was free from 8 hours. Time out of cutting machine is 10, that means time in plus a processing time of item 5 in cutting machine. The time in of item 5 in sewing machine is 10, though the time out of the previous work in sewing machine was 9. Time out of sewing machine will be 15, that means time in plus of processing time of the item 5 in sewing machine. Now our idle time of sewing machine. The waiting time of sewing machine is 1 for starting this item, because the time out of previous work in sewing machine was 9 and the time in of the present item in the sewing machine is 10. And the next, the time in of item 5 in pressing machine is 18, because pressing machine was free for 18 hours. Time out of pressing machine is 24, that means time in plus of processing time of item 5 in pressing machine. The idle time of pressing machine or the waiting time of pressing machine is 0 hours for starting this job, because the timeout of previous work in pressing machine was 18 and the time in of present task or present item or present work in pressing machine is 18. Now the next item 3. The time in of item 3 in cutting machine is 10, because cutting machine was free from 10 hours. The time out of cutting machine is 17, that means time in plus of processing time of that item in cutting machine. The time in of item 3 in sewing machine 17, though the time out of the previous work in sewing machine was 15. Time out of sewing machine will be 19, that means time in plus a processing time of the item in sewing machine. Now the idle time. The idle time of sewing machine or the waiting time of sewing machine is 2 hours for starting the job, because the time out of previous work in sewing machine was 15 and the time in of the present work in sewing machine is 27. Sorry, 25. So we can 17. So we can apply here. One strategy. That means which one will take the larger of the two. So now item 3 in pressing machine. The time in of item 3 in pressing machine is 24, because pressing machine was free for 24 hours. Time out of pressing machine is 34. That means time in plus of processing time of the item 3 in pressing machine. The idle time or waiting time of pressing machine is 0 hours for starting the item, because the time out of previous work in pressing machine was 24 and the time in of present item in pressing machine is 24. Now the last item, item 2, the time in of item 2 in cutting machine is 17, because machine A or cutting machine was free in 17 hours. Time out of cutting machine or machine A is 25. That means time in plus processing time of item 2 in cutting machine. The time in of item 2 in sewing machine is 25, though the time out of the previous work in sewing machine was 19. The time out of sewing machine will be 29. That means time in plus of processing time of the job or item in sewing machine. Now the idle time of sewing machine, that means the waiting time of sewing machine, is 6 hours for starting this task, because the time out of previous task in sewing machine was 19 and the time in of the present task or present item in sewing machine is 25. So we found the difference here, 6, and it is the gap, and it is the idle time of sewing machine or waiting time of sewing machine for starting the item 2. The time in of item 2 in pressing machine is 34, because pressing machine was free in 34 hours. Time out of pressing machine is 42. That means time in plus processing time of item 2 in pressing machine. The idle time of pressing machine or the waiting time of pressing machine is 0 hours for starting item 2, because the timeout of previous tasks or previous item in pressing machine was 34 and the time in of present item in pressing machine is 34. Now we'll go for the findings. See that here our total elapsed time or total processing time we found here 40. From the previous table we identified that the total minimum processing time, but our total elapsed time given here or identified here 42 hours, and the idle time of pressing machine, the total idle time of pressing machine 6 hours, the total idle time of sewing machine 14 hours. And we can add that the idle time of pressing machine and idle time of sewing machine, that means the total idle time of pressing machine and sewing machine is equal to 14 plus 6, 20 hours. And also we found that from our table, processing time of cutting machine is equal to 25 hours and the processing time of sewing machine 29 hours. Additionally, we identified here idle time of cutting machine. Also we can calculate this after processing, that means 42 minus 25 is equal to 17 hours. And also we can calculate additionally idle time of sewing machine, that means after processing it is 42 minus 29 hours, that means 13 hours. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.